Welcome to our third video about reusing tests. In the last video we talked about adding instances to a test set, and in this video we're going to talk about scheduling execution dates and also cloning per release. We have our test set called regression 2 open over here, as you can see on the screen. And now what I want to do is set a planned execution date for it. In the General tab you'll see various fields, including those about time, and one of them is planned execution date. If I click on the calendar over here, I can then select a planned execution date, and it will even give me the option for a time as well. I'm going to click Save, and then when I go back to my test sets and runs, I have set over here a view which will allow me to see the execution date of it, and it shows my planned execution date as being correct at the 22nd of July. I can also set up a clone per release field as well, and if I go to my particular test set again, my regression test set, I can then make it appear for another version as well. I've got it set presently for version 5, and if I also make it for version 6, that will appear. So if I go back to my test sets and runs, and I click on the checkbox next to it, I can then click the 3 dots over here and click Clone. When I click Clone, it brings up all my field information, and I can change this from 5 to 6. I don't need to create a new view. If I wanted to, I could also choose to clone only the failed instances, which is great if you're doing a retest, but if you're going to do a general regression suite, this is not useful. And then I can click on Clone over here, click Clone, OK, are you sure? Yes. And then it will show me that I now have version 6 as well as version 5. I have an autofilter set per version as well, so I'm going to put that into my search for filters over here, and you can see my autofilters. I've got version 5 with 1 test set in it, being a regression 2, and version 6 with 1 test set in it, also being regression 2. Now, of course, both of these test sets and their instances will live their own lives as different versions, and I can report and dashboard on them completely separately for each of those versions. Just to sum up what we've talked about in these 3 sessions, our first video was about creating the fields which are appropriate for reusable testing in our execution area of test sets and runs. Our second video was about adding instances to test sets, and this third and final video was about setting up execution date and cloning per release as well. Thank you for watching.